Dr. Daniel Siegel is a US-based neuropsychiatrist. He works a lot with parents and children. He works a lot with teachers and caregivers. He has developed a wonderful way of explaining the basics of how our brain works and the basic structure of our brain, our head brain, and a wonderful notion that he calls flipping your lid. I want to go through it with you. So this is what he talks about. If you want to raise your right hand to do this, you're welcome to do this with me. When we talk about the hand model of the brain as opposed to the heart brain or the gut brain, we can use our hand. The forearm here is the spinal cord. The base of our hand is what we know as the reptilian brain. It's the most ancient part of our brain. So we'll go through the structure of the brain as we do this. This is pure survival. It keeps our nervous system going, our heart pumping, our breath flowing. It also lets us know when we need to sleep, when we need to eat. It's all about basic survival. It is the most ancient part of our brain. If you lay your thumb across the center of your palm here, this represents the limbic system, also known as the mammalian brain. It's also an ancient part of our brain, and it's very much part of our survival mechanism. It works very closely with the base of the brain. So the base of the brain is here at the base of our skull. The limbic system is deeply embedded in the middle of our brain. And within the center of the limbic system, we have our radar for danger called the amygdala, meaning almond. So a very small almond-shaped part of our brain, right in the center of our brain, is known as our radar for danger. The limbic system is the place of big feelings within our nervous system. Some would even call it the place of our inner maniac. I don't do that, but some would. It's all about survival. The radar for danger, the amygdala, is always scanning for danger. Also within there is the hippocampus, which means seahorse. There are two hippocampus areas in the brain, and the amygdala sits very closely to them. The hippocampus is where our short-term and our long-term memories are stored, as well as other things. It helps with our language. Over the top of the limbic system, right here behind our forehead and the top of our skull, is the prefrontal cortex. It is the most recent part of our brain to develop. It's the place where our wise adult lives, our CEO. It's the place of rational thinking. It's where we do problem solving, and a lot of our language is there as well. Because this is the most recent part of our brain to have developed, when we get triggered, when we flare up emotionally, when we get upset, our amygdala and our brainstem kick into action really quickly to protect us from danger. And what happens is our prefrontal cortex, our wise adult, immediately goes offline. These are body-based. They connect very closely with our body. So that racing heart, that shallow breath, the tight shoulders, they send messages to our brain that we're in potential danger. And so our nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system, gets to work ready for us to fight, flee, or freeze. This part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex, goes offline, and we're left here with big feelings and survival. In order to bring our lid back on and our wise thinking adult to come back online, we usually need to do something physical. It might be knocking on the chest or shaking or taking some deep breaths. When we've flipped our lid, this is not the time to trust the stories and the narratives that are going on in our head, because these are coming from the place of big feelings, also known as the downstairs brain. Yep, and that's all about, oh my God, I'm in danger. This is really bad. When we come from these places, when we're in relationship with people, when we're talking with people, when we're responding to a surprise email from a colleague or our boss, this is when we can get ourselves in trouble. We need to bring our prefrontal cortex back online by doing something physical and then come from our wise adult. I'm Dr. Alice McKinnon, Stillness Ninja.